Is $4 million enough to retire? That's a fair question. And today we're going to do a case study that hopefully is going to answer that question. I'm Caleb from Cornerstone Financial. If you like today's content, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video. Let's meet our couple today. We're going to be looking at Tony and Susan. Tony, born in 1966, Susan, 67. They have one child, Morgan. Let's look at their income. They both have pretty good jobs. Tony is an executive. He's got $210 in salary every year. Susan, similar position. She makes about $100,000 a year. So today they make pretty good money, which is great. Now let's look at their Social Security income. At their full retirement, their primary insurance amount when they turn 67 is, for Tony, $4,018. That's the maximum primary insurance amount in 2026. Susan is about $3,750 a month, which is important because remember, Social Security income minimizes the amount you need to withdraw from your portfolio. So it's important to have those numbers in context. Now let's look at their investment portfolio. Right now, Tony and Susan have an investment portfolio of just over $4 million. So $4.2 million. See, it's all in 401ks through their job. So they've done an excellent job saving. And now they're looking to retire pretty soon. And as you see here in their joint account, they've got about $750,000 as well. So that's after-tax dollars, whereas the 401ks, those are pre-tax dollars. That matters because how those are taxed is different. The 401k is taxed as ordinary income when they withdraw, whereas if they pull out from that joint account, which is after tax, there's going to be different tax consequences based on the capital gains. We will not be getting into that today. That'll be another video in the future, but it's just important to understand that as we look at their plan. Now, we're going to look at some of Tony and Susan's goals. Right now, for their retirement, they want to retire at 62. They want to live on about $13,500 a month. That $13,500 excludes their mortgage. So as you saw on their previous screen, they still have a mortgage that they will pay off pretty soon. But that $13,500 is excluding that mortgage. That's going to be their groceries, their dining out, their insurance, and other miscellaneous expenses. They also want to travel when they retire. So starting when they retire, they want to travel every 3 years and allocate $15,000 towards that travel goal so that they can have a nice trip, maybe not crazy, but at least a nice trip. They also have healthcare goal. They want to make sure their healthcare costs are funded. This could be Medicare premiums. This could be other out-of-pocket expenses. That's a big goal for them. They want to make sure that they can cover, their portfolio can cover any unexpected maybe medical events that happen. Right now, you're going to see that the annual cost is $0. That's because we're using the program's assumption for healthcare costs. I will show you on the cash flow chart just exactly what that looks like. If we jump to retirement, you'll see here their living expenses. Part of those living expenses, that $216,000, are healthcare costs. The system is now assuming that healthcare costs for Tony and Susan at age 62 and 63 will be about $16,000 a year. While we're on the cash flow chart, let's just quickly look at why this is important. As you see, they have a total inflow of about $291,000 the year they retire. That's because Susan is still working. Well, they have expenses or outflows of about $291,357. So you see that the inflows are offsetting the outflows. A lot of that in this first year is distributions, which the program is saying we're going to distribute from their joint account first. So it's just because Tony's retired first, there's still income from Susan that year. That's going to help mitigate or minimize the withdrawal that first year of retirement because there's still some employment income. As you can see, as we look at retirement, now we see there's a couple years where they're not receiving Social Security and their portfolio is doing all the heavy lifting. This is why it's important to look at this because your portfolio has to sustain the income lifestyle that you want to have in retirement or that you need to have in retirement. And we want to look today if a $4 million portfolio has what it takes. So let's jump back to their goals and let's just quickly look at their retirement goal. Now, as we see, when they retire, they have about $5.3 million in assets. And when their plan ends, they have about $4 million when that plan ends, which is great. And you may be saying, wait, then why are we running this plan today? Well, let's look at a Monte Carlo simulation and show you exactly what needs to change. Based on just the current factors, the current goals, the healthcare, the travel, and their daily living expenses, they only have a 65% chance of success. That means they only have a 65% chance of their portfolio lasting from the day they retire to the day they pass away. When they ran 600 trials, 65% of the time you were fully funded. That's what we mean by probability of success. You are 65% of the time, your portfolio fully funds the retirement you want to live. Well, let's look at some changes we can make to get that number back up and really be certain that your portfolio has what it takes to last your entire retirement. So before we jump into changing their retirement age or their expenses, we want to look and see, is there anything else that will make some substantial changes? Well, let's take a look. What if we change our distribution strategy? So instead of pulling from the joint account first, what if we pull from the qualified 401ks, the pre-tax dollars? How does that change their plan? Well, in the early years of retirement, they have less money because they're paying more in taxes. At the end of their plan, however, they have more money. So again, we have to consider legacy goals when we think about the distribution strategy. Do you want to pay more taxes up front during your retirement and not have to pay taxes later because that joint account is growing tax-free? Or do you want to pull from your tax-free accounts first and then pay taxes later? Again, there's a lot of tax planning involved. It's what's your tax bracket going to be in 10 years? What's it going to be when you first retire, right? We saw they were making good income while they were employed. Well, what's that going to look like when they retire? Because if it's lower, there's plenty of things we can do for their distribution strategy. They can pull from their qualified money or even think about a Roth conversion. And then they have more after-tax dollars when they pass away that Morgan inherits, which is a great benefit for her. But for now, let's just keep the distribution strategy where they pull from their 401ks first. What do we need to change their Social Security strategy? Right now, we have them pulling at their full retirement age, which means, as we saw in the cash flow chart, there were about 2 or 3 years where they were not receiving any Social Security income. Even though Susan was still working, they were not receiving Social Security. So let's just look and see what happens if instead of Tony taking his full retirement age, what happens if he takes it right when he retires at 62? How does that change their plan? There's really not much that changes, which is good because it shows the flexibility of the portfolio. However, is that something we want to do? Do we want to take the reduced benefit to supplement that income? Again, taxes are a consideration. IRMAA surcharges are another consideration. But again, we see that even though this isn't a very material change to the proposed plan, this is something to consider, right? When you retire, instead of pulling out 100, 200,000 from that portfolio for 3 years, well, what if we start to take that a little early, where yes, you have reduced benefits, but now that's less stress on your portfolio. Again, these are things to consider as we look at this plan. Okay, now we've run the distribution strategy. What about your investment allocation? Okay, if we look at their current allocation, they're about 66% stocks to 22% cash. Again, these returns are not guaranteed, but they're assumptions. They're going to be averages. And the program assumes that you're going to get this percent every year and never lose money. So what if we look at being a little more aggressive before retirement? 6%. Trying to aim for that 6% return, what happens? Wow, their plan now looks amazing. Right? So now instead of their current allocation, they're going to put a little bit more money in the stock market, take a little more risk for some more reward potentially, and look at what their plan ends with, about $8 million. They still retire with the same amount, but now with that strategy, they now have a lot more to hand down to Morgan when they pass away. If we run that Monte Carlo again, what does that probability of success jump to? It only still jumps up to about 71%. So that means we still want to make some more changes. We want to ensure that this is going to last your entire retirement. Well, Now we're going to have to start looking at, hey, Tony, it's great. You're doing great, but you might have to retire a year later. What happens if Tony has to take one extra year, work one extra year, and retire? Well, we see that probability of success jumps up to 77%. So that one extra year is pretty good, because now they're not depending on the portfolio income for one extra year. Meaning Tony's extra year of employment means that's one less year they have to withdraw out of their portfolio. It's another year of growth, another year of contributions, and that actually looks really good. You see here, they have now about 5.7 million when they retire. So those extra savings, that extra year of growth can change a ton. That can change a ton. What happens now? Susan's like, okay, what happens if I retire a year later? What happens? Well, now that probability of success jumps up to 78%. So again, that extra year of working really helps that portfolio. We're jumping from a 60% to nearly 80% probability of success. And that's the big thing, is if you want to maintain your current lifestyle, right? If you want to live a retirement life to the fullest, again, looking at some of these, being flexible with some of your goals, being flexible with some of your needs can actually really help change how your retirement looks, right? Finally, and this is always last resort, we like to look at your retirement expenses. So instead of spending that $13,500, what if you spend just a little bit less? Because you also want to spend a little bit more on traveling. You still have healthcare costs that might go up. Okay, so maybe you don't eat out as much. What if we just say 90% of today's living expenses? What happens if we do that? Okay, so now the probability of success jumps up to 88%, and now they still, when their plan ends, it's about $9 million. So again, we're going to consider all of these things when looking at your portfolio, right? Whether it's 1 million, whether it's 2 million, whether it's 4 million, all of these factors have to be considered when thinking about your retirement, because again, we want the highest probability of success. We want to make sure that your portfolio can sustain the lifestyle that you want to live in retirement. So again, all of these are good things. Retirement planning is dynamic. It changes every year. There could be a long-term care event. There could be unexpected, expenses if you have to replace something on the house, or there are a lot of things to monitor when you're planning. So while this looks good on paper, the constant review, the constant talking with your advisor about these things helps ensure that your plan is dynamic. It's still working for you even as years go on. So today we looked at what a $4 million portfolio looks like. If you like today's content and want to see more, again, hit that subscribe button. We don't want you to miss any videos. Here at Cornerstone, we want to help you make sure you are building and laying a strong foundation for your family's future. So again, thanks for watching today's video. We will see you next time.